Hello, it's Maryon Stewart, and as promised, I'm live tonight talking about my new Menopause Empowerment Programme. So I just wanted to give you a bit of background, especially those that have joined our group recently. You may not know the history, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So I have been helping women to overcome their symptoms of menopause for more years than I care to remember, probably over 26, nearly 27 now, I think. The first published medical paper I saw was in the British Medical Journal in 1990. And they compared a group of women taking HRT to a group of women doing a whole bunch of natural things. And they were able to bring about the same changes in the lining of the vagina in the natural group as on HRT. So I pricked up my ears, and I've been helping women with PMS for many years with a very successful program. And so I adapted the program for menopause and went on from 1990. We carried on as new research was published. We adapted the program and updated it, and it got better and better until we got to the point where over 90% of women were symptom-free within 5 months of following the program. And I did that for years. I did that for a long time, mostly on a one-to-one, but I did go to Australia one year. I was meant to be a guest speaker at a conference that was being held around Australia. And 2 days before the conference, the person who organised it cancelled it. And so I was left with about 350 women who'd paid money, not to me, but to the person who was organising it. And they had no help. So I phoned a few friends. In those days, there was no video like this. It was just on the phone. So I managed to find a way of getting all those women on a phone call. And I gave them some instructions over the phone in a stage-by-stage piecemeal basis. And I went back the following year and caught up with them again and found that lots of them had overcome their symptoms. And one of them in particular was a doctor. And she said before the call ended that she wanted to thank me for helping her to overcome her symptoms, and it had helped her to help her patients as well. And I was just amazed that the power of communication over the phone could have that effect. It was incredible. So that really stayed with me. And then going forward to in the 90s, I had a column in the Mail, I had my own TV show, everything was going amazingly well. And then very sadly and tragically, I lost my youngest daughter, who was a medical student. So some of you know about that. I ended up campaigning, set up the Angelus Foundation, and I campaigned for 6.5 years with a whole load of world-class experts. And we managed to ban legal highs and get a new law implemented. So we shut down all the head shops, and we shut down lots of websites as well. So it protected lots of young people. So when I came back to health again at the end of 2016, I kind of lost my footing in a way, because I didn't have my TV show anymore. I didn't have my column in the Mail or anywhere else for that matter. And I was really starting again. And so I had a blank canvas and thinking to myself, well, where do I feel I'm most needed? How can I bring about the most change, the most help for people? And I decided it was menopause, because when I looked at what was going on, I realized that when I started helping women in 1990, there was really very little going on. GPs weren't very educated, even though we used to go and lecture to them, and practice nurses weren't either, and women were being left to fend for themselves. And that was pretty much what was happening at the end of 2016. So I decided that menopause women needed my help, because I know that I've got science-based tools and I can help women go from a really dark place to a much better place. So I was in America by that time. I'd actually remarried. I married an American man. And I was spending half my time in England, half my time just coming and going every so often, back to England, back to America. And I was in America, and I didn't really have much of a network. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, I really need to work out how to communicate. And I know how to make films, because I've been doing that for years, and self-help films, something I love doing. So I thought, okay, I'll find a filmmaker. And I got introduced to someone who has been part of my team for quite some time now, but she's a filmmaker, and she was running a Facebook Live course the next day. And I'm absolutely rubbish at tech, so I thought, okay, I'll go and have a go at this. I've never, ever made a film before. I'm always on the other side of the camera. So I went along, and one of my goals had been, before my daughter passed away, and I realized that it was still a goal of mine, was to set up a community for women to actually help them to enlighten them, really, so they knew that there were lots of different tools available to them, and they could help themselves, or they could get help to overcome their symptoms, and they didn't have to go on suffering. And they can have a much better life because they were feeling well, so they can have a better quality life. So essentially what I realized on the day that I was on this Facebook Live course was that someone said to me, well, actually the woman running the course, she said, well, why don't you set up a Facebook group and then you'll have a community? And I thought, oh, okay, didn't even know you could do that. So I was only on Facebook stalking my kids. So I didn't really do much with Facebook, and I wasn't a member of any group. So I set up the Facebook group that day. I made a film, and she made me promise I'd make 2 more films in the following few weeks. And I did that. And within 3 months of making those little films, over 1 million women saw those films. And as you can imagine, I was absolutely inundated with emails and hearing about awful suffering, all descriptions. So sad, it actually just made me cry. So I decided that I would try and help thousands of women, as opposed to hundreds of women, and take them on a journey so that they'd go from a dark place to a much better place, and we could all do it together. But things don't always turn out how you plan them. And what happened was, as I got more and more members, people came into the group who were acting like Dr. Google, offering other people advice. And so it was quite difficult to, and so I gave some self-help advice, and quite a lot of people got helped, but I couldn't really give proper self-help advice to replicate my program. So people were taking a pill, or they'd try something and it would help a bit, maybe. Sometimes it helped a lot, and other times it helped a bit but didn't help that much, because my program I describe is a bit like a pie, and there's lots of different slices to it, and you've got to taste a bit of everything to get the effect, so you can't just expect it to be a magic pill. So I went back to the drawing board last summer, and we invited some of the women in the group to come together as a focus group. And that focus group basically decided that a number of things. One thing was that they wanted more hands-on help from me. So I put together a 6-week boot camp, and that's been running now since last summer. And I thought in that 6 weeks I would teach women how to create their own program, a bit like what I do in a consultation. My first consultation with a patient, she fills in a questionnaire, I go into great detail about her life, her history, and get to know everything that's going on, and then I write a program for her to get on with. So I thought in the 6 weeks, I could break it down into bite-sized chunks, all these different pieces of the pie, and I could teach women how to put their program together. But what's actually happened in the course of the boot camp is that within 5 or 6 weeks, most of the women are feeling so much better. It's actually completely turning their lives around. And I'm so humbled and so touched by the fact that I've been able to do this. It's just incredible. So I'm doing this with groups of women. And in fact, we started a new boot camp on Monday this week. So we're on another voyage. But what I then did another focus group, because obviously I've been doing master classes, I've been making films, I've been doing all sorts of things, newsletters, so lots of free things. But to actually really help someone takes a lot. It's not just a 5-minute thing. And so when we did the latest focus group, I discovered that a very large percentage of the members of the group would love to join the boot camp, but they couldn't afford to. And so that made me really think hard again. And I went back to the drawing board with my team, and we decided to put together a 14-day menopause empowerment program. And what this program effectively is, it's 14 days of me. So I've made 14 different films and created 14 different bits of text, magazine-style text, especially for you, and especially for you to work out what you need to do according to your symptoms. So every single day you have new material. It won't take you more than 10 minutes to digest the material, because the films are all around 4 minutes long, and the text won't take you very long. But I'm giving very specific, targeted instructions, so you know exactly what you should be leaving out of your diet, what you should be eating, how to include naturally occurring estrogen, which supplements to take that have been through clinical trials specifically for your symptoms, so you know exactly what you're doing, how to work out what to do with exercise, relaxation, changes you need to make to your lifestyle. And so I've tried to replicate everything I do on my program in a very special self-help way. And it's been designed sort of as a course, but you do it in your own time from home. So what happens is you sign up for it, and then you get an email to welcome you. You get a login password, so you go to a special place online where you will receive the welcome pack. And then each day you can go in and you get the next day's installment. So you'll get everything you need. You've got diaries there, because I want you to be keeping diaries, and also diet sheets and everything you need to devise your program. So at the end of the 2 weeks, you'll know exactly what you need to be doing, all the science-based tools that you need to overcome your symptoms. So I'm launching it today. We're a bit late with it, but we've had some of the women in the group who came to the focus group, we've had them test driving it to make sure there weren't any bugs in it, and to make sure, and lots of people are saying that they're really happy with it. It's very simple, it's very explicit, it takes all the confusion out of things, because the one thing about Facebook, it's lovely because it brings everybody together, but the bad thing is that you lose everything in the group. Even I lose things, and I'm saying the same thing over and over again, and the material's all over the place and you can't find it. So what the women were saying in the focus group is that they can't find the things they want. So if they suffer with anxiety or hot flushes, night sweats, dry vagina, or whatever it is, they can't find the material. So now everything has been put into one place, and you will be able to access it at your leisure. You've got an installment every day for 14 days, and you'll know exactly what you need to be doing. So it's from me to you with love. It is a much more affordable price. So I was thinking about it today as I was getting ready. In my masterclass, I was talking about how much we spend on chocolate, coffee, and alcohol a year. And the national average for those, even if you have the cheap stuff and you don't go to wine bars, you're still spending on average about £1,800 a year. And that, I calculated as I was getting ready, is £35 a week. So we decided that the price of this 14-day program was going to be £149. I discounted it for my group, so any group members can have it for £95. And if you calculate that I'm going to be taking you off tea, coffee, and alcohol because they impede the absorption of nutrients, they make you flush more, and they really don't do much for you at all at this life stage. So it's not a life sentence, but it's in the short term. You're going to be saving money. So if you think of it, you will actually pay for this course in 3 weeks on average. So I think you'll agree that that's great value. And I hope that you really, really enjoy these materials, because I've put them together with you in mind. As I said, we've tried a test drive and everyone seems to be really happy with the materials. So I hope you have a great time, and I hope it really does achieve my objective of helping my group to go from the dark place into the light place and get symptom free. So look forward to your feedback and enjoy yourselves with this material over the next few weeks. And don't forget, you've got it before anybody else because you're my group. Okay, so good luck with it. I put the link next to the film, so you just need to click on that. You can go through and get your copy. You'll get your welcome pack today, and you'll get your first installment tomorrow. So good luck with it. Okay, thank you for joining me.